Podcasts are popular, but is it the right next move for you or your organization? Here are 5 questions to ask yourself before starting a podcast. I'm Brian Benton, Multimedia Whaler at Whole Whale, and we're going to talk about some questions that you should ask yourself and your organization before deciding if a podcast is the best way to reach your audience. The first question to ask yourself, is a podcast even the right platform for you? Does long-form audio make the most sense for the information that you're trying to share and the audience that you're trying to reach? Would videos, a blog, an event series, or even a book make more sense to share your information with your audience? Podcasts have the benefit of being fairly easy to produce compared to video content and having really low barriers to entry, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all information can be shared effectively with them. You'll probably have a website that goes along with your podcast or transcriptions of your episode, but maybe that's all you need. You should also think about what platforms you've already established and where people are currently getting information and content from you. If you have a successful blog or a successful video series, branching out into podcasts just because they're trendy might not be the smartest idea. Question 2. Am I driven by a desire to share something and give something away? While an estimated $34 million were spent on podcast advertising last year, most podcasts won't make much profit right away. While there's a long list of ways to make revenue from a podcast, like sponsored segments or episodes, ads on your podcast website, referral code payouts, live event tickets, or premium offerings like bonus content for your listeners, you need to find an established base of people that actually want to hear your content before any of those will be possible. Just like we saw with the YouTube boom a few years ago, it's possible to make a ton of money with a podcast, but it shouldn't be your sole motivator. When you set out to make a podcast, your primary motivation should be sharing something that's exciting or new, or just speaking more about a topic that you're an expert in or are passionate about. Question 3. Is my topic niche enough to stand out, but broad enough to have a wide audience? Successful podcasts have enough focus to be consistent and reliable, but stay broad enough that a lot of different people will want to listen and they don't run out of episodes after the first or second week. Take Whole Whale's podcast, for example, where Chief Whaler George Weiner talks about data and technology in the nonprofit sector. Listeners know they'll be getting an interview related to that topic every week, but by having a wide range of social impact leaders on the show, it can appeal to a lot of different professionals. The focus on data, technology, and nonprofits also helps the show stand out from the wide range of other shows that interview entrepreneurs and business people and fits with Whole Whale's area of expertise. Question 4. Can I put out content regularly? Like any publishing platform, one of the most important things about a podcast is consistency. You should be ready to put out a show every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, depending on whatever time frame you decide on. One tip is to consider building an archive of episodes before you actually start releasing anything. If you have a few episodes in the bank that you can release if something falls through, you'll never have an empty week. Even more importantly, before your first episode, be prepared and confident with what you're doing. A lot of times, listeners will go to your first episode when they first discover your show, so if it's of a lower quality than the rest of your episodes, they may not stick around. And question 5 is probably the most important. Do I have an audience and a promotion plan? While getting your show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or a lot of the other platforms is relatively easy, just because it's on those platforms doesn't mean anyone will notice it. Just like any other launch, you need to have a good rollout plan about how you'll get people to discover your show when it comes out. One tip is to have an influencer or someone with a big network of fans on your show as a guest early on so that they can promote it to their own following. Or you may want to collaborate with other podcasts or try to get booked as a guest on one so that you can cross-promote. So what do you think? Should you start a podcast? On wholewhale.com, we have a ton of resources that can help. Good luck and happy podcasting.